Tristan with Nerdette's Newsstand, and as promised in my last video, I did say I wanted to talk about some of the nerdy news we are seeing coming out of DC Comics. This weekend is C2E2 in Chicago, and it started yesterday, but there is going to be a lot going on as the weekend progresses, and it seemed pretty slow, honestly, at first. I was waiting for news to come out and hoping to hear more and more. Well, it didn't really, not enough news compiled up enough until today. There are some things I want to talk about and highlight when it comes to new announcements, fresh perspectives, Dan Didio, Joe Quesada, and sensationalistic, humble brag headlines from your favorite YouTube personalities that have no merit. So we're gonna get there. Now let's talk about the replacement. Everybody knows at this point Dan Didio is out, and we're kind of waiting for DC to give a formal statement, right? They really hadn't said and still haven't said much, but at least some of the creators have come out and said a few things that are noteworthy. And they do talk a little bit about representation and moving forward in the DC as a whole. So, let's talk about, let's go least to most. We'll do that. So, that's really mean. So I said let's go least to most, and then I'm going to say let's talk about Scott Snyder. I didn't mean it that way, I swear. So, Scott Snyder's new story is coming out, and I'm really excited about Death Metal. I am. I think it looks fantastic. Honestly, there's not a whole lot by Scott besides maybe Undiscovered Country that I don't enjoy. He is an all-around good writer. His Batman was fantastic. His Last Night on Earth was so good. And him working with Greg Capullo is like the ultimate creative dream team besides maybe Brian Azzarello and Libra Mayhew. Like, at least to me. So these two together working on this is like, just take my money. Really, honestly, it is. So we did get some news a little bit about, not too much. We got a couple new panels and I'll show you those. But Snyder basically called his story an anti-crisis story. So we have had how many crises now, how many reboots, how many redone, how many times have things been retconned and changed? I'm not sure exactly what he means by anti-crisis, but he does say that it is going to, it's an anti-crisis in terms of continuity goes. It will reconcile DC's various eras into one narrative. Now, I'm not sure exactly how you can do that. I don't know. So it says, stuff from Crisis on Infinite Earths to Doomsday Clock and a couple more. All of these will kind of be able to be reconciled. You know what? That's a huge creative project. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to happen, but you know what? I'm all for it. So there was some other things that were said. He did say that it was going to be bigger and better than they initially planned. And what I think, in my sense, and the way I take it, is with Dan Didio out, they have a little bit more creative freedom. Because we've seen and heard from many creators that Dan Didio was a micromanager. Not only did he tell you what to do, he told you what to change, who was the bad guy, if you could kill Alfred, or if you had to kill Alfred in Tom King's sake. So I think maybe they're getting a little bit more creative freedom. And I said in one of my videos a while back that I thought with, Dan Didio is more of a political player, whereas Jim Lee is kind of more, he cares about the heroes, at least in my opinion, more. Not only that, but he gives you a little bit more creative freedom. So I could be taking this completely wrong, but I don't know. And it's weird to me because when I was initially looking at this stuff planned for C2E2, I didn't see Snyder's name on it. Now, correct me in the comments below if I am wrong, but I'm not sure he was supposed to be there. And then he came out and said he was flew out today, or yesterday it would be, flying out tomorrow, and he had to be there for meetings. That's all a little suspicious. I'm just saying. It's a little suspicious. So let's get to the Jim Lee, the meat and potatoes of it, right? I seen this from Newsarama. I've actually been they use this like 24-hour widget where they update as panels go on. So I love how they do it. They do a really good job of covering everything if you can't be there. So, says Jim Lee signals DC won't replace Didio, addresses major DC reboot and rumors. So we're going to get to all of that. Now, for right now, obviously Jim Lee is the sole publisher and chief creative officer at DC. Now, they were working together. They were, co-publishers, him and Dan Didio. There's not going to be a replacement. He's not going to have a co-publisher. And it looks like Jim Lee's going to stay where he's at, kind of plant his feet and see how it goes. He says, there's continually new things going on, and I look at being sole publisher now and with the team I am working with, much more in the trenches now than ever before. Right? He was more hands-off than Dan Didio, let's be real. So he is going to have to step it up a little bit, but I do think with that creative freedom, maybe we could see a return to good superhero stories. I think the first place he needs to go, and this is just me, is Superman, Brian Michael Bendis. His creative freedom. He's got way too much creative freedom. Event Leviathan just came out, and it was just like, ugh. Like, I'm just done with this cat and mouse game of, these stories after stories, and don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying Year of the Villain. But there's too much creative freedom for, Brian Michael Bendis. I can't get into his writing. He's changed Superman way too much for me. And, not just Superman, Lois, the family, the extended people, Jimmy and everything. So I'm hoping that's where he goes first, but we'll have to wait and see. So he goes on to say, we've been with Warner Brothers for decades. The actual strategy for DC is to put publishing at the center of what we do. It's the engine of all the movies, the TV, the cartoons we do. So it's my intent going forward as the publisher, again, just himself, to lean into my collective years of my team. And I think that's great. And I said, I feel like I repeat myself a little bit. But if you didn't see my video before on this subject, I talked about how DC wasn't going anywhere. Like, DC is the backbone to, like he said, TV, cartoons, movies, big budget movies, even if they turn out, as wonderfully as Birds of Prey did. But not only that, but video games, like, they are the backbone of this. And not only that, they can test different storylines for pennies on the dollar than they could in the big screen. So I really do think this is pretty good answers. It says Lee also seemingly but vaguely addressed the rumors about Marvel acquiring DC Publishing. Now this was the most interesting to me because I've been kind of shilling for DC when it comes to this lately because there's been rumor upon rumor, speculation upon speculation. If 5G fails, DC's going under. Nah, bro, quit playing. Like, nah. Which have made their way into some internet rumor circles as of late. I wonder if that's just a little nod, like a little grudge, like, oh, yep, I know exactly who I'm talking about and what circles I'm talking about here, but I don't want to say it out loud. Yeah, I think that's pretty funny. Shooting down any chance of this to address some of the stuff that is out there, their rumors, speculation. I wouldn't put any credence into it. DC has been around for 85 years and will be around for another 85. I hope to be doing this panel in no, honey, you will look horrible. I hope to be doing this panel in 85 years. Okay, I think he just means the panel in general. I don't think he means actually him. He'd be like over 100 years old. But even so, like, I do think that was a little, like, nod at the dorks, at the freaking morons that keep saying all this stupid stuff. But I kind of love it in the same way. Anyways, so it says Lee also spoke about the chances of DC's impending 5G initiative would constitute yet another reboot, saying that it's not in the cards. It's hard enough to talk about things we haven't announced. Intentions not to do a line-wide reboot. Our focus is talking to editorial team and to continue what we've been doing best. Character-driven stories. Pairing right creators to write characters. And developing characters that are inclusive and diverse. And here we go. You knew it was coming, right? You knew this part was coming. He was asked in a panel about representation. And he said it would be more natural, but we understand traditions of DC is New York-centric stories, Northeast Coast related. But our goal is to reflect the entire world. And to me, when I look at the future, I hope there'll be an even greater representation behind the camera, people editing, writing, drawing the books. So, oh boy, here we go. I am curious to see how this goes. Like, I guess you kind of did best with that crappy question, but that's a little scary. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's a little weird. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about what's going on at C2E2, or if you've heard anything different than what I'm reporting. I'm always interested to see what you guys think. Make sure you are still subscribed. And also make sure you hit that like button if you want to help support the channel. Links are in the description. I said that as fast as I could because I hate doing it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I want to give a huge shout out to my Subscribe Star and Patreons. You guys literally make this channel possible. Black Knight Fool, Brucey, Chris C, Dave Ross, David L, Jeffrey Allen Carnes, Sanjuro, Jeremy Burtz, Joe Bustify, Kato Round, Magical Exotic Diamonds, Mighty Pauls, Mike Buckner, Robert, Steve Glasker, Timothy French, Ala's Matt Films, Alexander Trapp, Way Else One, and Troy Reiser. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like on the way out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.